John Frederick, he's America's Godzilla of Truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby!
Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla wins, the sports picking show for win and dough. Moneyline, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Welcome to another episode of Godzilla Wins radio show. I'm your host today, Mitch Rogers, joined by Vince Mayoko, John Fredericks, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, and Chris Saxman. We've got a jam-packed show, lots going on. Trade deadline in Major League Baseball has come and gone, and there was a lot of news there. There was also, we got training camp for football has started, that and much more. Want to thank our sponsors, WV Sports Nation, Healthy Cell, our advertisers, Rosie's Game Emporium, and My Pillow. It's great to be on this show. We will do some gambling, so we'll gamble responsibly. If you have any issues, dial call 1-800-GAMBLER. Again, that's 1-800-GAMBLER. Fellas, it's another Saturday, and it's another Astros leading the charge, Carlos Correa. But we got lots to talk about. But, John, I thought your Astros were going to just do nothing. I thought they were just going to stay put. In fact, I emailed your son the day before, and one of the topics was Astros do nothing, and then I had to change that quickly a couple hours later.
Nice catch for traction. To say we do nothing, if you follow Jim Crane, and look, he's not the perfect owner, right? He let a lot of these players go. He should have signed Tucker early. He should have signed Framber Valdez early. We're going to lose him. There's a lot of things he should have done he didn't do. He doesn't want to sign particularly long contracts. So there's a lot to be pissed about. But when it gets to the trade deadline, he's like the poor man's, AJ Perillia, whatever the guy's name is on San Diego. I mean, he gets us players. And look, for me, this is a great move. I mean, Isaac Paredes, who is our all-star hitter, he was hitting 320-25. He's likely out for the season with a hamstring. We have no third baseman. They played the month of July with 18 players on the IR. They were playing basically a AAA roster. They somehow, were able to win enough games to maintain their lead. But, now you get to crunch time. You can't go forward with that. And look, I'm a hater. I hate everybody that's not on my team. You all know that. And when you, leave us and you jilt us to get more money, like, a little sniveling, greedy crybaby, I root for you to lose. I mean, I would check the box score. I every day, I would check the Twins box score, hope the Twins lose, and hope that Correa took the collar every single day. And when he got hurt, it was like, too bad, Twins, wasted your money, losers, right? But now I can't hate him on it. He's back. So it's like he never left. And I'm a fair weather friend when it comes to my players. So I don't like any of the other players except mine. Only guy I give a pass to is George Springer because he stutters like me. So he gets a pass. And Marwin Gonzalez, because he hit that homer in L.A. to send the game to extra innings. Other than that, I hate everybody that's not on my team. But we got Correa back, so now we're going to love him up again. So, I mean, last night's Friday night's happy hour. This is how my family is, right? So we're downstairs, Georgia Browns. We got our friends there. It's happy hour. It's been a long week. We just moved on Sunday. And this is how our family is. 7:10, Anna's like, hey, we got to check out. I got to go see Correa. Upstairs we went, paid our bill, said goodbye to our friends. Upstairs we go, put on Apple TV, watch the Stros game. I mean, we are so dedicated. And he went 0 for 4 last night, but he hit 2 balls that either of them could could have gone out. He hit him to dead center. But this is a game changer. And we're getting all our pitchers back, and we still got a 4.5 game lead or 4 game lead or something. We're going to be tough. And so I think it was a great move. Great to have it back. Kind of like last night, it's like he never left, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and catching up all the listeners and viewers that don't know, Carlos Correa was drafted at 17 years old in 2015 by the Astros, won a World Series in 2017. John has hated him for the last 3.5 seasons as he was traded, or he went over to the Twins.
No, he didn't get traded.
He
I
left
can't
with
hate
the-
you. I
with the
can't
back.
hate you if you get traded. Like they traded Tucker. I can't do anything about that. They traded Presley. Can't do anything about that. But when you leave and we make you a good offer and you were there since 17 and you're part of the fabric and you just leave to get another, 50 million, screw you.
Do you think ultimately he's moving over to third base, right? So do you think ultimately it was a good move at the end of the day?
I mean, it was one of the best moves that other than I guess San Diego getting Miller, it was one of the marquee moves. I mean, we didn't have a third baseman. Paredes is out probably till the middle of September, maybe the season. We don't know. So we had no hitters. We had no third baseman. Payne gate back. He's at short. Now we got Correa at third. And they're saying, well, what about long term? I mean, we'll figure that out, right? I mean, Paredes, you might play him at second base. We don't know what's going on with Walker. He could be at first base. He's probably one of the best hitters we have, but it's a great that's a great problem to have. And Correa, I mean, he's with us and he's 1 year in to a 5-year deal. So we had to pay, I guess, 70% of his salary, which is fine. I mean, they offered him half. Twins said no. And then Crane stepped up because you couldn't go forward with an infield that belongs basically in AAA ball. I mean, that's what we were playing.
Chris Saxman, do you think 3 years, $70 million is too much for the returning superstar? In Pittsburgh, we like having our superstars return.
Which one? Who returned?
That's true. McCutchen, whatever.
Oh, McCutchen's great. He's great for the ball club. He's great for the fans. The kids love him, right?
Good
Are you
bobble.
talking about Carlos Correa going to the Astros? It's a great move. To John's point, I love the fact that he hates on his favorite players, even if they cut you in free agency. I can't stand that either. If you want to make a long-term deal, make a long-term deal. Try to get some equity from the club as well. I think that's going to be a model for the future, especially if the Pirates are ever going to hope to have Paul Skeens in the lineup beyond his minimum. But yes, I think it's a great move for the organization. The one thing I worried about when John was extolling the virtues of the Astros and their schedule, which they have the softest schedule to close out the year, which is really, really good news for them. That just bodes well. But I always worried about the chemistry when all these players come back off the injured list and they start meshing with the team, and because they were doing so well without them. And there's a vibe that happens on a baseball team, right? It changes, and bringing in Carlos Correa lifts the team up to the days of when we used to win. So I love the move, and not so much for the player that Correa is, but for the clubhouse addition.
Brendan, what does it say about Minnesota Twins? I mean, they just unloaded 40% of their roster.
Oh man,
What are they looking to do?
I have no idea. I was looking at their list yesterday. What was it, like 10 players they let go?
Half their roster.
Yeah, I know it's nuts. And who did they really get in return for it? It's to me, it's the ownership saying we're cheap, we don't care about winning. It's just they basically just threw the season away. I mean, you can't get rid of that many players unless you have a substantial return, and you can't even really name who they got in return for all these players. It's a disaster.
Well, they're in a tough spot. The team is up for sale. I mean, they were very disappointing this season. They had that 10-game winning streak where it looked like they were turning it around and they were scoring 8, 9, 10 runs a game. And their pitching was coming around. They had that closer. They looked like they were going to be a contender again. And then they just tanked again. Right. And, look, they had to make a decision. here's the thing, and as much as a flack as they're getting for what is a fire sale, okay, here's what I did like, Coach, about what they did. If you're going to have a fire sale, have a friggin' fire sale, okay? Don't go half-ass.
Exactly.
They had a fire sale, and they got rid of everybody, and if they didn't get the right offer, like they didn't get the right offer for Joe Ryan, they kept him. So, I mean, they said, look, this is not working. We're going to rebuild. We're going to do a salary dump. We're going to start over. And they still kept a couple of their good players. They still got Byron. They still got Byron. They still got Joe Ryan. They still have a couple of their good players. And if they didn't get a good offer, they wouldn't take them. So they got a lot of good minor league prospects. They're going to replenish their system and go from there. But if you're going to go all in, go all in. You know, if you're not going to do anything, don't do anything. But they went all in. And the maddening thing to me is, for the life of me, I can never figure out what the hell Tampa's doing. Are they selling? Are they buying? Are they buying and selling? Are they buying, selling, and trading? They trade catchers out. Like, what was that about? Right? They got a new catcher for their catcher. You know, then it looks like they're going to unload. Then they get another guy trying to make the playoffs. Vince, do you have any idea what the hell they're doing in there?
Yeah, that was kind of I thought they would be a little more active or, you know, stand put, but it was kind of like they wanted to maybe put a toe in the water and see which direction they would go. But I think I had some technical issues, but I think you were talking about the Twins and their fire sale, correct?
Yes.
Was that kind of lead in?
Yeah.
I think I heard this last night. They had to, because of their revamped roster, they had to dip down to AAA, and I think they brought 8 or 9 AAA players yesterday to have a 25-man roster. I mean, that is unheard of, to bring that many people, that many players off your AAA roster. But you know, they're in a situation where they think that right now is the bring in some young talent from other organizations, and at least, you know, compared to the Rays, at least the Twins had a plan.
That's what I'm saying, Mitch. They had a plan, and look, I mean, it's bad for the fans, obviously, because they tanked and they're done this season. But if you're the parents of the one of those 9 players they just brought up to the Twins, I mean, you're pretty excited about what they did.
I mean, they were like equal opportunity. I mean, you had Duran go to the Phillies, Harrison Bader to the Phillies, Castro to the Cubs, Griffin, Jacks, Rays. And this is just half of them. Brock Stewart, Dodgers, Danny Colombe, Rangers, Verlander, Ty France, both to the Blue Jays, and Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak to the Tigers. 40% of their roster. To how long does that take? I mean, Chris, how long does that take to? Well, we don't know in Pittsburgh because they never do it the right way. But theoretically, if you rebuild your roster through the farm system and get some talent, how, you know, when could we see them competing again? Anyone jump in? Chris, how long do you think that rebuild takes?
Logan,
let's let Logan.
I mean, if you're going through a rebuild via your prospects, it really just depends on, 1, the prospects, and 2, like, just the overall age of those prospects. But I mean, you could expect 3 to 5 years, I'd say. I mean, you're not going to have a quick turnaround with a bunch of prospects. I mean, you're kind of looking at a 3 to 5 year timeline in order to rebuild and allow those prospects to build up. But I mean, one good thing that can come out of this is the fact that they're all playing with each other and they're all being forced to move up. So they're having to grow and develop at a quicker rate, and they're also doing it together. So they're going to form like camaraderie. They're going to form just a more of a closer bond. So, I mean, who knows? The Twins, they have to have some type of plan in mind, and I mean, it's a plan. At least it's a plan, is my point. And here's the other thing: if you're in a rebuild, okay, you got to keep starting pitchers. You got quality starting pitchers. You got to keep them. You got to keep your marquee players that give the team, you know, give the fans a reason to come to a bobblehead night. But here's what you don't need: if you're in last place going nowhere and you're in a 3 to 5 year rebuild, you know what you don't need? A closer. What the hell are they going to close? It's meaningless, right?
So they take their marquee closer throwing 103 miles an hour, and they get maximum value for him coming in from Philadelphia. They got one of the best players in the minor leagues for him, one of the best prospects, right? It doesn't matter when you're not going to be contending whether or not you have a closer. Starting pitcher matters because you got to eat up innings and, you have to have some hope. But you don't need a closer. It's the same thing with Pittsburgh did. Everybody was, railing about, Bednar had 23 straight scoreless innings or 23 straight saves. Here was my question. Are the Pirates still in last place? Yes. Would they still be in last place without Bednar? Yes. So who cares? So they got something for him.
Hell, they traded me to Milwaukee. You believe
Listen,
that?
I like what the Pirates did. Here's why I like what they did. They kept Keller. To me, if they got rid of him, it's the same old stuff. They're just going to keep doing the same thing and basically raking in money and putting on a crap product. They kept Keller. They had a lot of offers for him. They kept him. They want Keller and Skeens. And I just think if you're a Pirates fan, you might see a little bit difference in this ownership. Maybe they keep these two guys. They build around him. They kept the old guy, McCutchen. I don't think the Pirates had a bad
I don't know, man. John in Pittsburgh, Chris, they want to sell the team right now.
Sell the team. Sell the team.
They are close to pitchforks.
Yeah,
and
Fam, IKF, and Heaney are still. They were brought in on expiring contracts so we could deal them at the trade deadline, and they didn't do it. The Bednar trade.
Fam's our best hitter right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-boggling. I like that they kept Mitch Keller, but then might as well keep all of them. The move.
The big trade for the Pirates is Falter. That's the one that made no sense to anybody. I mean, you can justify Bednar getting a couple Yankees prospects. Okay, it's going to be a couple years for them to get up. Maybe the catcher comes up, Flores. He's in AAA now. Maybe he catches fire, and but it's the lack of bringing anyone in who can be competitive. The Pirate fans are so tired of saying, well, wait till next year, because 2018 kids, it's going to be great next year. I mean, we're back to that kind of mentality. Well, we're just sick and tired of it.
If there was any competence in the front office or with ownership, they gained about $30-40 million with this. If you thought that they do something in the offseason potentially to build a team around Skeens, again, if it was a competent front office, they have a lot of leeway with these moves, but they won't. They'll just profit.
Well, the premise going into the trade deadline is we're going to work to build 2026 to make it better. There is nothing in those trades that made 2026 better. No one is going to be on the club next year. No one. Maybe Flores. Maybe. But he's not even doing. He probably won't get there either. And all they did for 2026 is reduce payroll so they can hopefully go into free agency and get something done. And then just say that. I think he couched it and said it was maneuverability. Whatever. We're just sick and tired of seeing this lack of momentum, this lack of effort, this lack of enthusiasm for building a quality ball club. Sign Fam. My God, he's playing well. These guys hitting 400 the last month. Make a move that says we're going to do this for next year. You can start doing that now because it's just so disgusting. Here's what's great for next year: the Greensboro Grasshoppers and maybe the Altoona Curve, right? They're going to have a bang up year in the first half of the Eastern League in Altoona, but they're going to be raking.
No, and I don't know what they do moving forward. I mean, obviously there's going to be a potential lockout. There's the players agreement that's going to be coming up. You had Bryce Harper, who we talked about last week, making headlines, confronting Rob Manfred, talking about the floor and the ceiling, potentially with salary caps. And as a small market Pirates fan, my opinion is different than Bryce Harper, obviously, but I don't think the Pirates would do anything better. They would still just figure out a way to be profitable. And
you'd have to create a floor before you do a cap. You'd have to create a floor. Say we're going to do a cap for 4 or 5 years, and then we'll come in with a cap. And it has to be a team cap. It has to be a high cap. You can't cap everything at 250 or whatever. That's not realistic. Because you take the stars out of the game. And I think you have to recognize what this game really is. If you don't have a floor that forces the Kansas Cities, the of the world, and Oakland's gone, but Pittsburgh. My fear is that they're tanking the team so much they'll sell it and move it to Nashville.
That's my concern as well. And Logan, how realistic do you think that is?
I don't think it's that realistic, but it's definitely an option. I've heard rumblings about it, and it's definitely. I just think that the city of Pittsburgh still loves the team too much, and you have the really nice stadium. You got the PNC Park. You have things that allow Pittsburgh Pirates to still be profitable in the city, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to winning, and they haven't done that in the past 30 years. And Bob Nutting only cares about making a profit every year, so I wouldn't be shocked if it happens in the next 5 to 7 years, but I wouldn't expect it.
John, there's nothing worse, and I live in the Washington D.C. area. I was witnessed and have been around, or was around, the worst owner in professional sports in Daniel Snyder. Getting rid of that little midget was the hardest thing possible. It took like FedEx behind the scenes and people in boardrooms. The Pirates we have the worst owner maybe in all of continental United States professional.
Definitely.
Like, Brendan, how do you get rid of them? Like, they already don't go to the games. There's only like 18,000 going anyway. Like, boycott.
Well, here's the biggest problem that I have with Pittsburgh fans. You'll still see people go into games and they're chanting, "Sell the team, sell the team." Well, if you keep going to games and putting money in his pocket, they're not going to sell the team. All they have to do is come out with a new bobblehead to give away, and they pack the stadium. It's like they'll sell out the stadium for Paul Skeen's bobblehead night, and everybody will be chanting, "Sell the team." Like, what sense does that make to anybody? Just it's frustrating, but there is no clear answer to get rid of him. I mean, the only way you could legitimately get rid of him is to completely boycott the team, and that's never going to happen. He's going to continue making money off the team. He's never going to sell it because he's making money. He doesn't care about winning. As long as he's making money, that's it.
Major League Baseball, the rich get richer. Speaking of that, the Yankees. So we talked about Bednar. Vince, do you think the Yankees making some of these moves strengthen? They also got Ryan McMahon for third base, solidifying that position over there. Do you think the Yankees did enough to make a move to try to take over the Blue Jays?
Well, they've got a bullpen roster now where they can have a closer of the day. I think they have now 4 closers in their bullpen, picking up obviously Bednar, picking up Duvall from the Giants. And the plan is, from what I understand, is they're going to stick with their current closer that they've had all year. But it definitely gives Boone some options in that bullpen, no question about it. They definitely improved their bullpen arms.
I mean, I would put that, Vince, as one of the bigger winners. I mean, they were blowing games right and left. I mean, the bullpen has always been, the Yankees, like bellwether, right? That they've always had that bullpen. And this season, I mean, they have a lead in the 6th inning. It means nothing, right? I mean, they basically they bring in the clown show, and those guys were getting lit up like a Christmas pinball machine night after night. So Cashman for the Yankees went out and did what he had to do, and he didn't. Here's what I loved about what he did, Vince, and everybody, Mitch. He didn't bank on one guy, right? He didn't bank on one guy. He got 4 of them. He figures somebody out of the 2 out of the 4, will be able to close the season good. So we got 4, and hoping that 2 of them will work out.
And I think they're all right-handed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I tell you, that's becoming another issue. The lack of left-handed guys in bullpens are hurting a lot of teams. When you get a left-hand batter up, and you have no left-handers out there, if you only got 1 guy or 2 guys, you're kind of screwed. So I think
you mentioned the Yankees being a big winner, and you may have already discussed this because I was still having technical issues. I think we got it corrected now, but I thought the Mariners were big winners too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big winners. And you look at the National League, obviously the Padres, we talked about this last week, Al, the Padres, it's almost like they're built for now. Well, I think they proved our point because they're going all in. and the Padres have a completely different looking roster, and they didn't lose any of their key components to the roster, so they're all in. And I think the Mets did some really nice things as well too.
Yeah, and talking about the Padres, right, John? I mean, Mason Miller to that bullpen.
Oh, shit.
Talk about adding to that closing.
Come on, man. I mean, and I got what Sacramento did. Like, I understood it. Like, they're not going anywhere. Therefore, you don't need a closer. They got the first or second best minor league prospect in baseball. I mean, when you're building a team, that's what you need to do. They also got rid of J.P. Sears, who was a solid starter. I liked him, but they kept the core of their best players, except for Miller. And I like what Sacramento did. I think you're trying to build for the future, and your closer's the biggest bait, and it's not going to mean anything. Whether you finish 10 games out or 20 games out, it's not going to matter. You're not getting the playoffs. So I like that move. But just overall, I've never seen a last day trade deadline like this in my life.
No, and I like being completely wrong.
Crazy.
I like being like last week. I was like, maybe San Diego will just stand pat and not do much because they have people coming back to their roster. Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Freddie Furman. They absolutely went nuts at the trade deadline.
I never leave early.
Love it.
Only if I'm going to a Joe's game or we're out of town or something. But I'll pretty much work till 5. That's how I'm successful, even though I'm starting at 5 a.m. But I left what was that, Wednesday? I left at 2:00 because as soon as the press briefing was done with in the White House, normally I go back to the studio. I went straight home and put on ESPN. I knocked off at 2:30 because the deals were coming in by the minute. It was like a ticker tape thing. It was like, oh, we just got another deal. The frenzy, I've never seen anything like I saw on Wednesday, and I think that just made the whole thing. It made a lot of fun.
Great. And we brought up.
It was a lot of fun. It felt like for the Padres, it felt like when you used to watch the World Series of Poker on ESPN, and they pushed in all their chips on the river card, right? They just went, "Oop, we're going in. We want it now." And I love the move.
Absolutely exciting. We brought up the Yankees earlier. Obviously, they're chasing the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto, getting Logan, getting Shane Bieber. Just starting right there. They're going to be tough to come back on, even with their current roster. This addition is going to make it almost impossible.
Oh yeah, 100%. And also a Bieber jersey in Canada, that's going to do numbers. But Shane Bieber is one of the best one of the best starters in the league, and it's always good to add a top tier starter. And Toronto, they're definitely on the upward trajectory over the years, and I don't know how he's been doing this year, but they've tried to get premier starters like Alek Manoah, and they just haven't worked. So getting someone like Shane Bieber adding to their rotation is going to be really beneficial to them. And like I said, it is going to help with ticket sales and all that good stuff. So it's a win-win for overall.
If he comes back, remember, he's got to come back. Yeah. That's I really thought San Diego would unload Dylan Cease, but he's had a terrible season, and I guess the asking price was too high. I figured somebody would get him, but he just kind of just stood there. A lot of us thought that this was going to be like starting pitcher merry-go-round, and really, except for a couple, all the good starting pitchers stayed in place. What do you guys make of that?
Yeah, usually you have a handful of starting pitchers, but yeah, like you said, John, this was a pretty quiet case for that. And I don't know, maybe it was just the deals just weren't coming, but there was also a lot of good bats that got traded and also a handful of closers. So it kind of all equals itself out. It's just like I feel like it's just like in any sport for any given year, for NFL, there could be a year where a lot of running backs get traded or a lot of receivers get traded. I feel like it kind of depends on the crop that pops up for each trade deadline. But I think this trade deadline was highlighted really by the closers, Bednar and Duvall and stuff like that.
Well, also too, Logan, is I think that's the change in Major League Baseball now too, is because if you go back 15, 20 years ago, it was all about starting pitching and which starter could get you to the 7th or 8th inning. Now it's about if a starter can get me 2 times through the lineup, see you in 5 days. And it turns into a bullpen game. And that's all 32 teams. I mean, it's or 30 teams. It's a bullpen game now. It's typically most Major League games. The last 4 innings are designed for the relief pitchers. And that's why I think you saw so much need for relief pitching in this trade deadline.
Yeah, and I did like the way that Toronto hedged their bets with getting Sir Anthony Dominguez just in case the Bieber takes a little while to come back. And speaking of hedging their bets, you could always go down to Rosie's Gaming Emporium or Colonial Downs. John, tell us all about the great Rosie's.
Hey, racing right now at Colonial Downs. Look, I was in the business my whole life as a young man. I've been every racetrack in the country. I put Colonial Downs now #1. It is the most beautiful track you're ever going to do. Right outside of Richmond. Saturday racing today. Post time 12:30 p.m. They race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. This is in New Kent, Virginia. Kids under 5 free. It's going to be one of the best experiences you'll have. Great trainers, great jockeys, great horses, so much fun there. And all you have to do is go to colonialdowns.com, colonialdowns.com. They have the most beautiful turf course, in my opinion, in the country. I put Saratoga 2nd, Oaklawn 3rd, Del Mar 4th, Gulfstream 5th. That's just my rankings. Beautiful track. Going to have such a good time. And if you don't want to play the horses, you got somebody in your family that don't play the horses, you go to Rosie's slot machines downstairs, biggest payouts, biggest jackpots. It is a really fun day for your family. The food is excellent. It's very affordable, and it's a lot of fun. So all you got to do is go to colonialdowns.com, colonialdowns.com. Post time, Wednesday and Thursday, Saturday, 12:30, Friday, at 4 o'clock, twilight. Go to colonialdowns.com. Have fun, win money.
Right. I'm going to colonialdowns.com. You're listening to Godzilla Wins radio show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by John Fredericks, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman. As always, we do a couple gambling picks. Gamble responsibly. If you have any issues, dial 1-800-GAMBLER. They can help you out. We've been breaking down this awesome Major League Baseball trade deadline. Might as well keep that going and move on to the National League East a little bit. The Phillies, we just brought it up, the fact that it is relief pitching and closers. They got Duran, they got Harrison Bader. Philly upgrades their bullpen and defense in a bid to stay competitive with John's favorite gangster bankster Mets over there. How did the Phillies do enough to keep your Mets at bay?
Yes. 10 big winners. I mean, they got like the premier closer in baseball. Guys throwing like 103 miles an hour or something. He's nuts. That guy's crazy. They got him, and they got Harrison Bader, who's proven in the playoffs. That was an upgrade for them. I think they did excellent, other than Bryce Reeves whining about the salary cap, all about him, not about the future of the game. So Bryce Reeves, what's the word? Bryce Harper. Who's Bryce Reeves? He's a state senator of Virginia. Sorry. Bryce Harper, like, shut up. Okay. You got your money. Like, don't screw the game up for the game itself because you're greedy. Like, go hit your homers and get out of my face. Other than that, great job by the Phillies.
Poor Bryce Reeves. I hope he doesn't lose any votes because of this. And by the way, Logan, it just feels like Renegade is playing behind you with that setup going on right now.
Squeaky freaking chair.
I'm good.
Yeah, Yohan Duran, he's the premier closer this year. I mean, he's probably having a career year this year, and with the Phillies adding him, I think that probably propels them to top echelon in the NL. And I think, especially once you get into October baseball and you get in those marquee matchups, you need a closer, which is exactly why teams like the Pirates or the A's should trade away their closers. There's no point, like you're saying, Saxman. So I think it was a really good trade for the Phillies, and I think that's going to prove dividends. I mean, one aspect of it that didn't prove dividends yesterday is David Bednar. He with the Yankees, he didn't do too well, but Duran, he came in ninth yesterday for the Phillies, and he did close it out. So I'm gonna personally pay attention to those two, especially, and also Mason Miller. Mason Miller's definitely probably top 3 closer in the league as well.
Chris, do you think the guys on the other side of the state did enough to keep the Mets away and challenge for this NL East?
Oh, absolutely. The Mets have a propensity for imploding, and I always enjoy watching that. Even just loved watch. Was it WGN out of New York or WOR when they used to broadcast? And when I lived in New York, I used to go to that dump Shea Stadium, and which had the jet wash from LaGuardia right behind you. It was just choice. Great place to put a ball field right next to LaGuardia. Jiminy crickets. So no, I think the Phillies going to have a great run here. They get a great ball club, good vibe going on there. And I've talked about this many weeks. And the chemistry and the vibe at this point in the season really does make a difference. And I think Harrison Bader fits in really well there. But to have that closer, if you know that guy's in your bullpen, and you can shorten the game to 5 innings for your starters, and as Coach adroitly pointed out, it used to be get them to the 7th and you're good. Now it's get them to the 6th and just throw the arms out there. So yeah, the Phillies are painfully. It's painful to watch from the other side of the state, but that's what happens when you have.
Yeah, and Brendan, I mean the Mets grabbed Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley, Gregory Soto, like we talked about last week. The Mets don't want to give up this East. So do you think they have enough to win that division?
I don't know yet. I mean, I think that's a great question. The Mets have been having a great season, but I love the moves that the Phillies have made. Like everybody else has said on this panel, they may have done enough to put themselves over the Mets, but this Mets team has been kind of, they never die this year. They'll go through a little skid where you think they're about to fall off, then they'll have a 7-game winning streak again. So it's hard to say at this point. I think they're going to keep pace with the Phillies. I don't think that they're going to be completely buried. I think it's going to be a fun battle between those two teams.
Also, last year,
biggest loser. Who do you guys think was the biggest loser here?
It's got to be Minnesota, right? Are you talking the whole league?
Yeah. See, I don't agree with that. I think Minnesota did. I think, like we said at the beginning of the show, I mean, on paper, on the surface, yeah. But if you're going to have a fire sale, have a fire sale. And I think they did that. So I think court's out for them. Certainly it appears that way. To me, the biggest loser, Cubs. Cubs did nothing. Cubs did nothing. When you snooze, you lose. Right? They're only going to have Kyle Tucker for 1 season. The guy's going to sign for, $500 million, something. The Yankees will end up with him, or the Dodgers. We all know that. They got one season. They're a game out. They need a starting pitcher. They need a closer. They need a whole bunch of things. And they did nothing. They got Willie Castro from Tampa. The guy's hitting, he's a 238 hitter. That's all they got.
I think their biggest letdown was not getting a starting closer, like you said, John. I mean, they needed a starting pitcher, and they did not get one. So I think that in and of itself makes it a pretty big loss for the Cubs. I mean, I'm sure they were looking at Mitch Keller, and I don't understand what happened there. But yeah, I would say the Cubs, but I would agree with Brendan, the Twins, and this may be a little close to home, but I just didn't like what the Pirates did. But that's
the Red Sox were surprisingly quiet too.
Well, they got their own plan. Look, Cubs and Brewers didn't make a move, and I think it's great for their ball club inside. They're going to look. We're 19 games over 500. We're doing really well. When you go back, you see the day after, you walk in there and say, "Guys, we got a great ball club here. Go out and keep winning. We've got it." So because we can play fantasy league all day long, but and you get inside that clubhouse, it matters. I just think it matters so much. And guys go, "Yeah, we got a great thing going on here. Let's go out and win." The biggest loser for me, Rafael Devers, and tanking the San Francisco Giants. God, is that a disaster? Is that a disaster? And I hate it for Vince. I do. I mean, I love that ballpark. I love those uniforms. I mean, I love Willie Mays going back to New York Giants. I mean, it's one of the greatest uniforms out there, and that's a great ball club. But damn it, they screwed up by getting Devers. There were so many other good ball players that could.
Yeah, no argument here. Hey, one thing is it's easy to sit back 24 hours after the trade deadline and go, okay, great trade, bad trade. Let's be honest, gentlemen. We're not going to know the result of these trades for maybe 5 or 6 years down the road. So we could sit here and say the Padres did great. And if they don't go deep into the playoffs and they've mortgaged their entire minor league program, and in 5 years they're a 100-loss team, then guess what? The Padres made some terrible deals. So it's easy to jump in and say that these teams made great trades, these teams made bad trades, but like I said, we won't know the full outcome for 4, 5, 6 years down the road.
No, for sure. One of the big
the Cubs have the best run differential in the league, and not by a little. I mean, they're 12 runs ahead of the second team. Which is the Brewers. They're 114 games to the 114 runs to the good. What do you change?
The change.
What do you?
You got to get a start. Look, you get in these playoffs, dude. Everything changes. I mean, if they don't win the division, which I don't think they're going to win the division, now you get your first round is 2 out of 3. I mean, you run up against 2 good starters, you lose one of those games. Now you're playing 1 game for your season. I mean, you got to get a starter, and then you go into the best of 7. You better have some arms, and I think they really missed an opportunity. But I get what you're saying. I mean, they're 19 games over, they're winning, but they had a glaring need and didn't get anybody. Then you go to the Tigers, who I think were the other biggest loser. So they revamped their entire starting, their entire starters. But let me tell you who they got. Okay, they didn't get Mitch Keller, they didn't get Dylan Cease, right? They didn't get Joe Ryan. Here's who they got, right? You ready? Chris Paddock. Oh, that shiver my timbers when he starts, right? Guy's having a horrible season. Kyle Finnegan. Okay, right? Paul Sewald. That guy was washed up in 2003, right? Randy Debnack. Don't know who is it. Oh, my God. Rafael Montero. Complete Astro implosion. Couldn't even get outs in Atlanta. They got him. Cody Hooer or something. I mean, they didn't get it. Charlie Morton. What? That guy's done. So they got nobody. So they got all these pitchers. They're all run-of-the-mill. Paul Seward? Guy's like 50. Unbelievable.
But do you think they still have enough to keep Cleveland away, though? That's what they're looking at.
Well, Cleveland is more interested in gambling on baseball than they are winning games.
That's one of the most amazing stories. Let's pivot to that. You're listening to Godzilla Wins Saturday show. I'm Mitch Rogers, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Chris Saxton.
Can I say one other thing on another loser, right? Does anybody have any, at least if you're a Pirates fan, okay, you understand your owner sucks, they're cheap, they don't want to spend any money, and the whole thing's a grift, okay? You get it. If you're an Angel fan, Vince, you got this beautiful stadium in Anaheim. I mean, it's gorgeous. You got the Amtrak pulls in there. I've been there a number of times. One of the most beautiful stadiums in America. And what the hell are they doing? Are they selling? Are they buying? Are they winning? Or what in earth is the California? What are they now? The LA Angels? What is Anaheim doing? Do you have any idea? Vince?
I think all 6 of us are asking that question. Angels, golly. I mean, I'm not a big SoCal guy. So any team that can compete against the Dodgers is a friend of mine. And so I root for the Padres when they play the Dodgers, because obviously I'm a Giants guy. And I root for the Angels because they're the little brother of the Dodgers. And it's really sad, because think about this. 3-4 years ago, you had Mike Trout on the top of his game. You had Ohtani, who, MVP, I mean, a true 2-way guy. And they would finish 25 games out of first place with the 2 of the best players in the history of baseball. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. I maybe they need to bring back the rally monkey. I don't know what the Angels need to do, but the fact of the matter is they are a very big disappointment, no question about it. And they have been since '02, when you really think about it, the last time when they one and only time they won a World Series. So
it all went downhill.
It's really sad.
It all went downhill whenever they signed Anthony Rendon.
Well, that's a good point right there.
Good point.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even want to play.
No, he got a World Series.
Guys like Devers, he's a cancer. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't care. He's just a first and 15th guy. Pick up his check. He doesn't care about the team. Guy's a jackass. He's a cancer in the guy's a cancer.
And you know what, Logan? Also you brought up a good point. Think about going back in time since '02. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on the star player for the Rangers that the Angels spent a boatload. Josh Hamilton.
Yeah, Josh Hamilton.
They spent a boatload on him. They spent a boatload on Albert Pujols. So they really mortgaged with those two signings, which was 10, 15 years ago. Maybe that was kind of the precursor, and then the Rendon situation, and it's just been. They do not play the free agent market very well, so to speak.
Yeah, that Josh Hamilton.
What's their identity as a ball club, as an organization? What is your identity? The biggest problem with the Angels over the lifespan of almost 60 years on this planet is what to call themselves and what uniform to wear. That's the only drama that encapsulates the Angels. Like, okay, what color are we going to go with this year, and what are we going to call ourselves? LA, California.
I like the Anaheim better because they play in Anaheim. That's where they play.
But my point is they're trying so desperately to not be the little brother, to stand out and not actively compete against Los Angeles in that market. And you can't play around in that market. There are ball teams to be constructed to compete against Los Angeles Dodgers in that market. But they seem to be completely content with going, yeah, we are.
And remember, Sachs, for about 2 or 3 years, they were called the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That's a ridiculous title.
It's just like stupid. Just be who you are. You're the little brother. Be plucky. Build from the organization from within. Don't sign these big free agent contracts that are going to crap out on you to do more damage long term. Build a long term future there. God, it's one of the most frustrating organizations in all of sports throughout the world. Are the Los Angeles, Anaheim, California,
and it's Major League Baseball's nightmare when you have the superstar of your sport not winning, like we're going to see with the Pirates right now. That's Major League Baseball's nightmare with Paul Skeens. Could happen here too with the team without any identity. But
the Pirates have an identity. They have a cheap ass owner. Is what their identity is. That's what their identity is.
If your customers hate you, I'm going to put it out there, guys. It's not a good business model.
But people keep showing up to the ballpark. That's the problem.
It's like flying value jet. Probably not a good idea.
That's right. You're listening to the Godzilla Win Show. We've been breaking down Major League Baseball's awesome trade deadline, furious ending to the week. There was one pitcher in particular that was supposed to be one of the major chips for the Guardians. Emmanuel Clase was not one of the chips that was out there for relief help to be traded around the league. Him and Luis Ortiz have had their lockers cleared out. They are in a gambling scandal. One, when on the surface I saw it come up on the scroll a couple weeks ago, I just assumed somebody went on to DraftKings and placed a bet here or there. But no, it's been irregularities with the pitches they've been throwing and how they've been playing, John. The severity of this and the ramifications could run deep here.
Yeah, it's bad enough you got one player, right? One player, and I think it was Coach Mayako that really capsulized this for me last week when he was talking about hockey and some of the Russian mafia that had gotten players over and they owed him and their family was in trouble and they were leveraged, and that maybe the same thing happened here with Ortiz with Cleveland, right? Maybe it was the same thing. Maybe he was leveraged, maybe he was threatened. We don't know. But when you get then your premier closer, one of the best closers in the major leagues over the past 3 seasons, and you're in the middle of a pennant race or a wild card race, and they suspend him and nobody tells you why? You don't know. No one knows the extent of this. No one knows what exactly is going on here. But if you're an Indians, I'm sorry, Cleveland fan, I mean, you got to be like, what the hell just happened to my team? What are they doing? Because you're supposed to be out there trying to win games to get in the playoffs, and you have a good enough roster when you get there to advance. Everybody knows they're a good team with that closer, and all of a sudden they lose a starter, they lose a closer, and it's a gambling scandal, and they're making hundreds of, tens of millions of dollars. Like, how does this happen?
I'd say the only thing they're really doing right now is bend the over on how many balls they're going to throw. It's definitely a sad situation, kind of a disgrace to Major League Baseball. I mean, when you have 2 on the same team, that kind of becomes an interesting dilemma. I mean, who else is there going to be more that's going to resurface? Like, is this just 2 bad crops? But when you look at their pitches, it was, I mean, Ortiz's was clear as day. I mean, his weren't even like questionable. I mean, he threw this in the dirt. He threw this in like 20 feet in the air. Colosse's, I mean, his from some of the clips I saw were at least looked like competitive pitches, but like were clearly out of the zone. But I mean, Clase, he was like the best closer in baseball last year, and now to this, I mean, it just I always wonder like why. Like, you already have a 20, 30, whatever $1 million contract. I guess just people want more money. I don't know, but it's a disgrace, and I think that the Cleveland's definitely gonna be impacted by it. But I don't know. I mean, they might do some investigations and find more. We'll see.
Yeah, John brought it up. I brought this up several weeks ago when we talked about this. I did a little bit of research. Both Clase and Ortiz are both from the Dominican Republic, so connect the dots, so to speak. But you get situations where you're indebted to some people back home, and instead of forking over maybe some of your contract, it's probably easier to such a thing like this is betting on, I'm going to throw a ball on the first pitch of the 3rd inning. And, the mistake that was made was large amounts of money were bet on the ball to be thrown in the top of the 3rd inning. So that obviously threw up a red flag big time. And it does make, I'm not accusing these 2 individuals of having ties to criminal matters when it comes back to the Dominican Republic, but it does make you wonder. In a circumstance like this, it just seems like if you start connecting the dots, this very well could have been an organized crime, however you want to term it, but does not look good.
Yes.
No, and in Kristen, we thought that once the salaries got to this level that, it's okay. There's no one going to be fixing games. There's just too much money in the game, even in college sports right now. But when you get in a tricky situation, like you may owe some people that helped you get over here, it's probably easier from their perspective to all throw some bets down and get their payment that way, and it assures that all the people involved get some money back.
Well, there's different elements to organized crime, and we can it's an easy pivot to go to greed. Oh, they're just being greedy and trying to bet, just kind of throw a pitch. Who really cares? But to Coach Vince's point, there could be other elements involved here that are very, very literally physically dangerous. Like, they could be threatening their families back home. And so I'm always hesitant to, early on in investigations, to start throwing around blame and shame until we get to the real crux and real facts of the matter. Because first and foremost, there's one rule in baseball you cannot break. It's gambling. You cannot be seen in participating in that. It's damaging to the game, especially when there's so much gambling going on now, and it's even more pronounced because it's legal in most states. But in today's day and age, the simple fact of the matter is, a lot of these kids come from very different backgrounds than any of us are ever aware of, especially in the Dominican Republic and some of these 3rd world countries. And they're producing great ball players, but the circumstances of their lives are very different. And I'm hesitant to throw it around there, and I hope the Guardians can get on top of this. The Major League Baseball Players Association get on this as well, and the authorities both international as well as local here.
And Brendan,
what's
amazing to me is doing this on a prop bet doesn't feel as nefarious. So when they're selling that to the player to try to do this, that's a weird one. You're not throwing a game. You're not taking a dive.
Right.
You're throwing some more balls. So it's almost like in your mind, ethically, you're like, I don't want to do this, but if I had to do it, this would be the, easy.
Yeah. But at the same time, you can't have either one in the game because, where does it stop if you overlook something like that? I mean, I do sympathize with him because, what everybody else said on here. I mean, who knows? Maybe there was trouble back home. He owed some people money. I mean, that's a very real possibility.
Or they just threaten. Or they just threaten his family.
Right, exactly. And that's a very real possibility over there. It happens.
Coach Vince said last week. I mean, if you go back, you guys, Chris and Vince will know this. If you go back to the Black Sox scandal in 1919, right? Mm-hmm. So those bookmakers hadn't paid out like they were supposed to give all these players money. They didn't. They gave the pitcher $10,000, and then they didn't really give the other players money. So the Black Sox were coming back, and Lefty Williams was on the mound, determined to win that game and screw the bookmakers because they wouldn't pay them. Well, they told, this is documented, they told Williams, you lose this game or you can say goodbye to your wife. She's a dead woman. And he went out, and what else was he going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, you go back to 1919 was a very different time, obviously, but it could be the same concept, right?
Right. I mean, stuff like that happens in the Dominican all the time. It certainly is a real possibility, but at the same time, you can't have in the game. It really is a sad situation all around because now his career is most likely done. I mean, you get caught gambling. I mean, that's basically, that's it. It's a sad situation.
Well, it also it's totally sad. You have a guy who had a problem like Tucupita Moicano a couple of years ago, got thrown out of baseball. But what we might be not talking about and walking right past is the potential for its pervasiveness throughout baseball with these prop bets. It could be so pervasive and so quietly discussed amongst some of the players of certain backgrounds and like, oh, you should do this. This is a great way to make some extra money. It could be far more pervasive than we know. And that's what we also have to look out for. So it's both sides. It's like, let's get to the bottom of this. And then we can fix it, but it has to be fixed. Because the Guardians,
John, you hope when they're being presented with these offers that they had a good night's sleep, that they maybe took some healthy sell.
They had a good night's sleep.
Or somebody came up and offered this to them, and then their judgment wouldn't be clouded, and they make the right decision.
Look, Coach Vince and I get this. You got to get a good night's sleep. And I've been getting a lot of sleep since Ann's here. I'm happier. Cat's here. Cat curls up in the bed before Ann comes in. Life is good. But I got my REM sleep right here. Take this every day. Ann takes it. Joe takes it. All natural. You got to get a good night's sleep. I mean, there's nothing more important than sleeping. It is, especially as you get older, it is one of the most underrated things in the world, because when you sleep and you get in that fourth stage of sleep where you're dreaming, that's when your body rejuvenates. That's when all the healing processes go through. That's when you get the replenishment that you want. So when that alarm goes off and you jump out of bed, you're feeling good. You're ready to go. You're ready to take on the day. Nothing can stop you. And that's because you had a good night's sleep. And I do this every night from Healthy Cell with REM sleep. It is the greatest thing I've ever taken. This is not habit forming. It's all natural. And it takes 15 minutes, not 2 weeks, not a month, not 3 weeks. It's not a drug, right? It's all natural. It supports all 4 phases of sleep. And I've been preaching this forever, because when you get a good night's sleep, you just feel so much better. Like today, clock rang at about, I think I set it for 7:30 or something. So 3.5 hours, what I normally do, got a great night's sleep, jumped out of bed, ready to go. All you got to do is go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off your first order. Just try it. Try it for a month. You're going to have immediate results the first night, the first 15 minutes. And it's going to really have an impact on how you feel, your attitude, and your life. It's about quality of life. Go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla, Healthy Cell, REM sleep, promo code Godzilla, 20% off your first order.
3.5 hours of sleep. I couldn't even open my eyes with 3.5 hours of sleep. That is.
No, I said today I got 3.5 hours more than I normally get.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, because I get up
today 3.5 hours. That's a nap.
I get up Monday to Friday at 3:50 a.m. That's what time I get up. 3:50.
I'm going to bed sometimes at that time in Morgantown.
5 days a week. 3:50.
Gets his head off his My Pillow.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, it's tough.
Do y'all have kids? Do y'all have kids? I mean, 3.5 hours someday was like luxury.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a luxury being here with you fellas. This first hour has been fun. Godzilla Win Show. I'm Mitch Rogers, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Chris Saxman, John Fredericks, Vince Mayoko. We've been breaking down Major League Baseball. But this second hour, we're going to talk a little football.
Woo!
NFL, college, maybe find some picks, some futures bets. I don't know. Second hour of the show coming right up. We can't wait. Stick around.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
I'm Dr. Kirk Elliott, founder of Kirk Elliott Precious Metals. After more than a decade in this industry, I knew there was a better way. And it's an exciting time to invest in gold and silver with the most significant bull market I've ever seen. But please, don't overpay for your stuff. At KEPM, we focus on bullion only and no commission when you sell. We'd love to connect with you, so call our office at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/Godzilla.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have a $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Hopefully it'll be coming back. Welcome to the show. You are listening to the Godzilla Wins radio show. Good to be back. Remember, we will do some gambling picks. So if you have any issues with gambling, please gamble responsibly and 1-800-GAMBLER. We are brought to you by Healthy Cell, Rosie's Gaming Emporium, My Pillow, and WVSportsNation.com. Myself, Logan, and Brendan have the pleasure and the honor of writing for the website. It's ramping up right now. Summertime, it's a little bit tough to get some stories in there, but not when Best Virginia is playing, the alumni basketball team that's been going out there. Spring practices, our summer practices for the fall football season with Coach Rich Rodriguez are underway. And I'm writing my column right now about those first practices. And Logan, nothing short of when you need some sound bites when your coach says, I've had 2 running backs that made it through the drills and I've already gone to my staff and said, hey, look for more running backs. Yep. The hard edge is coming to Morgantown. What do you think, Logan?
Hey, it's a business.
Brendan, when he says, hey, I've got 70 new players and this is a business, I can retool my roster. There's still 300 players in the transfer portal. What messaging does that send to the fans in the state and to the parents of these kids?
I think it says that Rich Rod is all in on winning this year. And it's refreshing to see after a disastrous, how many years Neil Brown was here, I don't even remember, but every year he was here was a disaster. But no, I like that he's saying that message, because it's not only a message to the fans, it's a message to the players in a way too. Like, look, if you're not doing the job, we're going to find somebody that performs. I'm very excited for this year. There's a lot of unknown because, of course, the entire coaching staff is different. We have 70 plus new players coming in. You really cannot predict what direction this team's going. It's fun to see it all going in formation right now.
John, we're just so excited with the teaming up of WVSportsNation.com. Obviously, we're a little biased, the 4 of us, writing for it, but it's awesome. And Rich Rodriguez and the Mountaineers will be back in less than a month. This month, we have football this month.
August 30th, Robert Morris.
My dad's alma mater. We got to go.
Wow, your face. Hearing that.
They were tailgating before, Mitch. Come down.
I'm going. Yeah, I'll be at the game. I'm coming. All right. Well, finally, I'll get to meet. You're listening.
Yeah, I'll be there. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Just Godzilla Wins radio show. No, it was a little muted when we came on. I'm Mitch Rogers, joined by John Fredericks, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, and Chris Saxman. We did Major League Baseball news and highlights and headlines of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. The first hour. We are a gambling show. We like to do picks here again. Responsibly. If you have a problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. But John, I'd be remiss if we didn't do some baseball picks. It'd be weird to do it at the end of the hour after we just talk some baseball. It's fresh in everybody's mind. John, who are you thinking today for some Major League Baseball?
Well, here's what I'm digging, right? Ann and I live in Washington, D.C., right? We live across from McPherson Park out in that area.
Yep.
So I go down my door. I walk exactly one block on K Street, right? One block. there's an ABC. It's not an ABC store like in Virginia, but it's called ABC Liquors. And in the liquor store is a Caesars gambling kiosk. It's a sports betting kiosk. And so it is literally a block from where I live and work. So I go out, I go down there, I go into kiosk. I don't need to do it online. Sometimes my online account, it gets a little scarce once in a while, where I take money out or do something with it. I go right down. So yesterday, on my lunch hour, I walked down. This is like incredible for me. I go down, I go to the kiosk, which took me 4 minutes walk from my office. And I go in the kiosk and I bet 2 afternoon games, the Cubs and Milwaukee, win them both, go back to my office. And then to cash the ticket, you go to the counter where they sell the liquor. And you give them the ticket, they give you the cash. It's like the greatest thing ever invented.
It's some bodega. You get in some Lucy's. What are we doing?
Some 40 go in there, get a bottle of vodka, and go bet baseball games right in the kiosk. I mean, it's something else.
My question is, did you have to pay with straight cash?
Yeah, you have to put. Yeah, you can't do debit cards or something.
There's something about that.
Got to put the cash in the machine. You put it in the machine. And then it shows you what if you put $100 in, it'll say you got 100, and you click on what you want, and they got all the prop bets. I don't do any of that. But there was a guy ahead of me that was making like 30 prop bets. Like somebody gets a hit in the second inning. I don't even know what those are.
He's probably playing Keno.
It's like playing Keno. I mean, it's so much fun.
Morgantown boys, we know about Keno.
But I like 2 games today. I like 2 favorites. I'm betting the Cubs minus 220. I don't mind laying 220 to 100 if you're going to win the bet.
Well, it's because they're playing the Orioles. Tell everybody you're fading the Orioles.
Well, listen, I was fading them.
Wait a second.
And I lost like 4 in a row, right? And they outscored their competition like 90-7. So that didn't work out. But now I'm back fading them again. But anyway, I like the Cubs today at home with Matthew Boyd minus 220, and I like Milwaukee. They're on the road minus 188. You just can't bet the Nationals now. And the third game I like 3 games today. You got to start betting now against the Twins every day. They don't have a major league lineup, right? So even though I liked what they did, right now they don't have a major league lineup. So I like the Guardians minus 163, 3 heavy favorites, but like my father said, there's 2 kinds of tickets, the ones you cash and the ones you tear up. I like the ones I cash.
Vince, I like the fact that John, and I think in general, everybody that starts gambling, because we talk about gambling responsibly, but what is more irresponsible than being able to just use your debit card or your Venmo? You don't ever have to physically see the cash or feel the cash. It doesn't even hurt. It's just a number in your account. I think you should. It should be a rule that you have to, for the first year of gambling, have to do it with cash, with like a bookie, responsibly. From the federal government, maybe we can figure this one out. But
those are illegal, dude. A bookie.
It's so weird. Why is that illegal? But you can just go online and I don't know.
Because the government takes out taxes. That's why it's legal. You don't do it with a bookmaker. I mean, the old bookmaker days. I mean, you get a bag of dimes and my father be calling the phone like 50 times before somebody answered. I mean, and there was no cash there. You bet with a bookmaker, it's not like you were giving him cash ahead of time. That was on credit. And then you'd be down, you'd have a bad weekend and you got to pay them. You got to go find the money.
I put it on my schedule, E, every time. What are you talking about? Don't come after me, Alex.
Guido Tuesday, time to pay up.
Vince, have you taken a look at any of these Major League Baseball games? Any picks to give out for some responsible gambling today?
Of course. I have, actually. And I believe Blake Snell makes his Dodgers debut today. And you can get money with him. He's at a plus 134 for Blake Snell against his old team, the Rays. And then here's a great pitching matchup, Skubal versus Wheeler. And you can get money with Skubal at plus 164 right now. I know the Tigers have been struggling a little bit, but man, when you can get money with arguably one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I think that's worth taking an eye on.
Chris, I see your backdrop, and it just happens to be a Saturday, perfect for Major League Baseball, that Paul Skeens is pitching today. At least somebody will get to see him possibly out there. Does that look like any good money, or do you have any other bets out there today?
Yeah, it's probably the only time you'll have a 1-0 game in Colorado. After they posted 9 in the top of the first yesterday, and still managed to lose.
Did they get
2 9-run leads?
We lost.
Did they get beat in that game?
No, we lost.
They scored
Yes.
9 runs in the first inning and had 10 hits.
We blew 2 9-run leads.
I almost bet against them in
You
the
guys
bottom of
got
the first.
beat last night? Oh my
Yes.
God! It was 9-0 in the top of the first, and they still had guys on base.
Yeah, I woke up to all these texts.
know.
I thought I was waking up
We
to
all
pre-production texts from you all for the show. I woke up to just nothing but the Pirates, just my Pirates Twitter feed, and all of my chats just going nuts about how, we needed Bednar. We needed him in for a safe situation. Any other good action out there today, Chris?
No, I'm still disgusted from the trade deadline for the Pirates. I haven't really dove into it, but yeah, I'll go on Skeens. What the hell? I mean, the odds are they still lose this game somehow, some way. It's just you talk about fading, John.
John can't close his mouth after looking at the box score for the Pirates.
17-16. I mean, let's say you bet $10,000 on the Pirates, right? This game was over in the top of the first. They had 10 hits and 9 runs, and they still had 2 guys on with 2 outs. How do you lose this game?
No, my first, John, my first thought at the bottom of the first inning was like, they'll blow it. I should bet on that. Yeah. That's how bad it is. That's when your first inclination is like, oh my God, we're gonna win a game. It's like, no, we could blow this. I could make money.
You could have probably got 10,000 to 1.
And to add insult to injury, we did it against the worst team in baseball this year.
Oh my
Colorado.
God. What a sad state of affairs. I didn't even know that. I didn't even look at that.
Wearing those horrible City Connect uniforms. That's what it was. It was a distraction from those horrible uniforms.
What's the
horrible?
There's no way the Pirates have any more runs in this series to give out, right? Like, what's the under?
Oh, they're losing today.
Oh my
They're
God.
losing.
Yeah, no,
It's like a football game.
Colorado plus
Like,
180.
it's like the Broncos beat the Steelers 17-16, and somebody missed an extra point. I mean, oh my God!
They wouldn't score that many
Skeens
points.
is going to come in and dominate today. As soon as we go to the bullpen, the game's probably going to be scoreless, most likely, and our bullpen will give it up. Put money on the Rockies.
Joey Bart went 0 for 1 with 2 runs scored.
Dude, I miss Bart. The Bart man. Got to do the dance. Brendan, you got any Major League Baseball plays today?
Absolutely.
0 for 1, 2 runs scored.
Absolutely. I love Toronto over Kansas City. If you're not betting Toronto lately, I mean, what are you doing? The hottest team in baseball. I knew they had a little bit of a 3-game skid, but this is the hottest team in baseball. Dare I say, future world champions?
Ooh, bold prediction.
Possibly. I also like Milwaukee. I'm sold on Milwaukee in the National League. They're playing the Nationals, so that should be pretty easy. Going to take the Mets as well at -200 over San Francisco. Ever since they've gotten Devers, they've just been a train wreck. Can't bet on the Giants.
I like that bet, actually.
Logan.
Let's see. So I'm probably gonna piggyback on a couple of you guys, but I'm gonna kind of put it all together. I like the Dodgers, Blake Snell's debut. I also like the Cubs with the Matthew Boyd pitching. And then we were talking about the Pirates and, laughing about how there's no way they can score more runs. But luckily they are going to be facing against Austin Gomber, who throws a lot of meatballs. So I don't know. I wouldn't be too shocked if we put up some more runs. And you also have Skeens. So I think if you put those 3 together, that would be my bets of the day.
Guess how many pitches last night in Colorado?
300
total for both teams.
340.
Wow. 414.
Every time I see one of those games like in the West Coast League, the first thing I do is he's like, I hope my son wasn't part of that. Check the box score immediately. I hope Joe wasn't part of that debacle. And
I used to work for a small AM radio station that relayed the Orioles games out in like Loudoun County, and West Coast trips already 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning anyway. And if it was 17-16, I would have to leave at like 3:30 a.m. to come home. That would have been a nightmare. I feel bad for all the board operators, everyone running commercials on that broadcast. Woo! Have they got to sleep?
You know, the Orioles, they used to carry them on the station that I first, got the show at. It was AM 1650 in Hampton Roads. And I remember, because I was always out in the morning, I remember one day at 4:30 driving into work, I get in the car, I turn the radio on, and the Orioles game's on. I'm like, what the hell is this, a replay? And it was like the 17th inning of, they were in Oakland or something. The Orioles game was on at 4 in the morning.
We're giving our Major League Baseball picks. So you guys have gone through most of them. I do like the Mets over the Giants. Senga is pitching. He's 7-3 with the 2 ERA. It is minus 190 for the Gangster Bankster Mets, but I'm putting my money on them today. Again, gamble responsibly. If you have any issues with gambling, pick up the phone, dial 1-800-GAMBLER, or you can probably get online and put 1-800-GAMBLER in the Google search or put it in ChatGPT. Someone will get you some help.
And there's
Major League Baseball picks.
50-50 odds.
What about Scherzer today?
50-50 odds if a female or a male answers the phone.
That's a good.
I love that.
You bet on those odds.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best.
You wait for the
videos
third ring or how fast it's going to ring.
Over under 2.5.
The over under
How
on the
many
ring was
rings?
2.5.
2.5. Over under instead of 2.5. I'm slamming the under.
All right.
Come
Was
on.
that hot round? Yeah, got it.
Sorry, the best part. Sorry, wrong number. No, it's not. No, it's not. You have a problem. You need to talk to that person.
Yeah, I do. It is funny and it is weird. You know, we've talked Major League Baseball. It is still weird for me after Pete Rose just passing away that we have a league that you're allowed to gamble on the outside with now, and it's just being intermingled in, and it's the mortal sin. But now it's just so easily available to everybody. It's just definitely a different era. And again, if you're into it, it's fun. Do it responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER. Listen to Godzilla Wins radio show. We've been doing some Major League Baseball. It's time to pivot a little bit to some NFL football, and we'll keep it with some gambling picks. John and I, to make the game interesting, to make the Chargers-Lions Hall of Fame game interesting Thursday at 8 o'clock, we both bet on the over, and we both were rewarded with some money there.
That was all Mitch's pick. I bet the over. I had no interest in the game. I didn't watch it, but I put $50 on the over, all because Mitch said they don't play defense in these games, and he was right. It was an easy win.
It was an easy win, but it got a little bit – they scored quick, and then it stopped, and I was like, ooh, they might not score again. But, Logan, who knew that Trey Lance was still around in the league, and he is still younger than some of the second- and third-year quarterbacks around right now. He actually had an impressive performance, albeit against people that might not start every Sunday. But, man, he looked thicker. He looked the part. There was something about Trey Lance that I was like, maybe.
No, he had a really good game, and I mean, it doesn't matter who it was against. He's fighting for a roster spot at this point in his career, so he's gonna go against anybody, and he's gonna play a lot in preseason. And when you're at that level, I mean, you don't care who you're playing up against. You just gotta ball out. But for Trey Lance, he's had a very unfortunate career. I mean, he was drafted number 2 overall. They thought he was the guy. He gets hurt off a freaking read option on like his second or third game of his career. And then Mr. Irrelevant comes in and just takes his job. So it was a very unfortunate start of his career. And Trey, he just hasn't been able to bounce back. You know, he was on the Cowboys and he kind of just was wasted away on the bench. And now with the Chargers, he's probably going to be wasted away as well because of Justin Herbert. But it's good to see him ball out, even if it's just, week -1, not even preseason yet. So, I mean, I don't know. It was good to see. It's good to see him. And I think, I don't know, he still has talent. I mean, He can move well. He has a pretty big arm. I don't know. I think he could, if he has a really good preseason, I could see him getting traded mid-season to becoming a number 2 option for a team, unless the Chargers expect him to be their number 2.
Yeah, and like we said last week, it's just exciting to have some football back. And we could analyze this game and Trey and all that stuff. But Los Angeles and Detroit, once they are fully rostered up and ready for the regular season, they both have high expectations. I mean, Detroit, obviously, they're looking for the Super Bowl or bust. That is what's on the walls in their locker room right now. The Chargers played amazing last year and are just looking to build off their first year of their second year with their coach. Vince, what do you think about the futures for Detroit and Los Angeles and the pressure that they're both going to face this season?
Well, in the Lions situation 2 years ago, they're up 24-0 against the Niners in the NFC Championship game. And the 49ers, with Mr. Irrelevant comes back and makes a huge second half rally. Had the best record in the NFC last year. And sometimes that bye can come back and bite you, so to speak. I'm telling you, Jim Harbaugh is a quarterback whisperer. And that, I think we talked about Trey Lance. He's in a perfect situation where he can sit behind Justin Herbert. He can gather in all the information he needs, and he's got Jim Harbaugh right there. And I think it's a perfect situation for him. We saw Justin Herbert a year or two ago kind of have a decline in his career. Harbaugh comes in last year. And of course, Harbaugh brings more of a run-oriented style of offense. And it's a perfect match. It really is. And I tell you, Harbaugh, give him, I know he's polarizing, but man, he can coach football.
He's a football guy.
Brandon, what do you think about the pressure on Detroit? They lost some key personnel. They lost Ben Johnson at offensive coordinator. Should their expectations to get right back to the Super Bowl?
I think it should be, because there are a lot of – the core is still together from last year. And this was a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year. And as we said, they completely choked it away. But I don't think anyone has lost faith in Dan Campbell. I mean, Dan Campbell completely turned this franchise around. The Lions were always at the bottom of their division before Dan Campbell, and he's turned them into a competitor in the NFC. So I think their goal is the same as last year. You're still going to see the aggressive play calling that we saw last year, going for it on fourth down when 31 other teams wouldn't even think about it. I think the goal in Detroit is still Super Bowl. They're all in this year, and I think they're going to be a fun team to watch again this year. I think they very well could get back to the NFC Championship.
Chris, what are you looking at here with Detroit? Do you think their expectations are still realistic to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, I think the fire is going to be even more so this year. I mean, when you get so close, and we got Aiden Hutchinson coming back, that's going to be a ball of fire, especially in the playoffs. And they'll, I think, better manage their team and expectations. Look, the guy made a lot of questionable calls. We talked about playoff baseball, playoff football, same way. You got to change up a little bit there. You can play that fourth down game in this regular season when you know you're going to get to the playoffs like the Lions are. But I think it's a great ball club, great for the city of Detroit. Detroit's a city on the rise with all of its sports. Pistons are back, Red Wings are back, Tigers are back. So it's a great vibe there. I was there a couple months ago, and the Lions, boy, that's a franchise that has been beleaguered, and we all know it. So to have them have a real shot at this, I think they need a backup quarterback more than most, because it's just gonna, you need that. I don't think they have that with the kid they played the other night. I forget his name, not Hendon Hooker, the other kid, Allen. But the future is bright for Detroit, isn't it? It's a different vibe. It's a great coach. He's just changed the whole attitude around, and so the ownership. So good on them, and I think they'll be back.
Throw in the greatest rapper of all time and Eminem, and then all of a sudden you've got a perfect combustible mix of just fun and awesome energy. It's great. It's also the first week of training camp. A lot of these kids, all these players, they're in some dormitories. They're rolling around. They're not in their normal beds. They need to get on mypillow.com like right away and get some slippers, get some pillows, They're in
Godzilla.
some dorms that have been slept on by hundreds and hundreds of kids. They need some clean sheets, John. I think My Pillow, they could hook them up into that.
Well, I tell you what, I just ordered a new pair of slippers today, actually, this morning before I came here. Mine are getting a little ratty. I got them on right now here at the studio, so I wear them all the time. I got the 10 wide. They're just so comfortable. But they got a pillow sale right now. They got because Mike's just got a good heart. Mike Lindell, been a sponsor of Godzilla Win since day one. He's a great guy, great team behind him. Okay, great deal right now. $29.98 king size pillow, can't beat that. But the Giza sheets, he's got a sale on those. The slippers. The thing about My Pillow is they have so many things there. The quality is phenomenal. The prices are great, and you can order right online, and it's just so easy to do. But they've got a special on pillows right now. It's a closeout sale because he gets new inventory coming in. He's got a whole new batch coming in. He had some big retailer cancel the shipment on him like they always do. But we benefit from that. Just go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com, and you can get your pillows right now. And he's got a tremendous sale going on, so you don't want to miss that at mypillow.com. Promo code Godzilla is the key. That's where you're going to get the savings. Just go to promo code Godzilla. You can also call them 800-854-0504, 800-854-0504, or go to mypillow.com. $19.98 is their sale right now for a standard My Pillow queen size, $24.98, king size, $29.98. Get the My Body pillows. That's Sammy's favorite, $39.98. All you got to do is go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, or give them a call, 800-854-0504. You're good to go.
All right, you're listening to Godzilla Wins radio show. I'm your host today, Mitch Rogers, joined by John Fredericks, Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Chris Saxman, and Vince Mayoko. We did a lot of Major League Baseball in the first hour. We have now pivoted to the NFL. Training camps are in full force. We actually had the Hall of Fame game last week that John and I both won money on the over. Again, 1-800-BET responsibly, or 1-800-GAMBLER if you have any issues there. Major League Baseball picks. Rewind it to the front of the hour. You'll get a bunch of those as well. Moving on a little bit. And there is a lot of drama in training camps right now. And where do you go to Dallas? You go to Cincinnati. There's one where it's almost like they're trying to manufacture some drama. Down in Tennessee, John. I mean, Cam Ward not getting hype and buzz is almost trying to be made a storyline when that's actually probably pretty a good thing. He's humbled out the Shador Sanders. Some other people have taken some of the headlines out of here. Some people are trying to make it into something he's not getting his due yet. But this is a rookie. I think he's a first-round pick. John, why has the hype been just a little bit less for this first-round pick this year?
He's had a tough training camp so far, right? He's not looked particularly sharp. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. He's missing reads. But this is what the purpose of training camp is. I mean, he's played with a number of different college teams, and now you're coming into an NFL system where the speed of the game is dramatically faster. It's going to take him a couple preseason games to really figure this out, but he's not getting the hype because he's not earned it. I mean, he's not had his training camp right now. I would put it at a C- D+, because obviously I follow it pretty intensely every day. The biggest thing with the Titans is their defense is better than meets the eye. It always is. But the key is they got to keep him off the field. They finally cut Treylon Burks, who was always hurt. He got hurt again. He was their first round choice in, I think, 2023. He's finally gone. But look, the Titans, they need to just stay under the radar screen, win their 6 games. That's about the max they're going to do. I looked at their schedule. I'm like, I go through the schedule. I'm like, loss, maybe a win, loss, maybe a win, lose. I mean, they got a tough schedule. I think if they win 6 games, I'd be happy. But in the NFL, you win 6, 7, 8 games, you're in no man's land. Better off they win 1 game and get another, for first or second or third round pick. But this team's a ways away. We'll see what happens. But I think what they're trying to do with Cam Ward is just, and the guy has no ego. That's the other thing where I got hope. He has no ego. He's not Johnny Mansell, none of that. Guy goes to work, goes in the film room, goes home, goes back to work. So I've got high hopes.
Vince, I remember not too long ago, well, now maybe about 20 years ago, you were allowed to at least develop a quarterback. Now we're in an era where everyone's on social media just grading quarterbacks the first week of preseason. Oh, he went 11 for 15, 2 interceptions. And like, I mean, okay, I've gotten over the fact that there's no more Steve Youngs and you don't get to sit back like Aaron Rodgers and learn from the best. Okay, I've moved on from that. But can we give the guy more than 10 days in practice? I mean, what's going on? I think we're okay, right? I think Cam's going to be fine.
He's going to be fine as long as he stays upright. And I think that's the biggest problem is when you bring in, you draft a high draft pick like a Cam Ward. We've seen it before. I mean, go back in time when the Houston Texans were an expansion team and David Carr was the #1 overall pick, and he holds the National Football League record for most sacks in a season and I think a career. And if he's placed anywhere else, he probably has a very productive NFL career. It's all about protection. And I don't know what the Titans' philosophy is, but I would run the ball a lot this year if I'm the Tennessee Titans, just to keep Cam Ward upright and keep him healthy, because they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. They're looking long term, and their long term plans are, if they're going to compete for a Super Bowl title, Cam Ward has to be taking snaps.
I don't know if Logan, you may have been too young, but that first season with David Carr, he did get a win over our Pittsburgh Steelers. So I do remember that rookie season. We seem to do that with everybody. Every expansion team, if it was Jacksonville, we just lose right away. But Logan, as a team, I'm a Steelers fan, just wanting my franchise quarterback. I would trade everything to be in the Titans spot right now with Cam Ward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Cam Ward is going to be the future for the Titans. I think he's going to be really good. There's a lot of holes on that roster that I'm not a fan of, mainly the offensive line, which is not a good look when you have a rookie quarterback. But I think they have a decent enough receiver room. You got Tyler Lockett, who is a veteran who's going to be a good piece for him. But for the Steelers' sake, you don't have your franchise guy right now, except Will Howard. Will Howard's looking pretty decent right now, but I don't personally think he's a guy. You're definitely looking towards next year's draft, and you're looking at a particular South Carolina quarterback, Lenore Sellers, who
you've been saying his name a lot. Yeah.
I would probably give away.
I don't think you guys are going to get a high draft pick, and I'll tell you why. I made one futures bet, and I bet the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. I got 35-1. Right? You bet $200.
Wow.
That's $7,000. Okay. I've got probably, if he's got 1 year in him, I got the best quarterback in maybe the history of the game. I got one more season in him. I've got a defense that is suffocating. I've got TJ Watt. I've got a home field advantage where you can't beat him at home, especially when the snow falls. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not a Steelers fan, right? But I'm not an anti guy. I'm just, football observer. We carry them on our network, so I hope they win. But I think Steelers at 35-1. This is a Super Bowl pick of all time. This team is going to win a lot of games, and they're going to get deep in the playoffs. And when I got Aaron Rodgers, and if remember, he never really recovered from that Achilles injury he had last season. You could tell he was never right. And I think the Steelers are going to be the shock team of 2025.
And he's got DK Metcalf to throw to.
Damn right.
And also, could we give Aaron Rodgers a break? He had really only 1 year that wasn't so good, but it was with the Jets. Name one quarterback other than Joe Namath did anything with the Jets. I mean, they're a cursed franchise.
Joe Namath.
Chad Pennington, baby. Marshall. Let's go.
Maybe Pennington.
Let's go.
Wasn't the guy on the Seahawks on the Jets from West Virginia? What's his name?
Geno Smith, and he was punched
in the face. He got punched in the face with the Jets. I don't think that went really too well for him.
He had to leave the Jets to become good. Geno Smith was terrible with the Jets.
He had to leave so he wouldn't get punched anymore. He was
for
his life.
Hey,
what about you guys forgot Richard Todd?
Richard Todd, who's that? Sweeney Todd? Who is Richard Todd?
That sounds like made up name.
He played the quarterback for the Jets.
That was
Richard Todd.
Don't do that, Tom.
You guys forgot Al Woodall. They had a lot of good quarterbacks, man. You guys.
Boomer Esiason. They.
He wasn't on the Jets. He was on the Bengals.
He ended on the Jets, right?
He played for the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He went to the Cardinals and the Jets. He rolled around.
Look at when the show's over. Look up Al Woodall. One of the greatest Jet quarterbacks ever.
I love that there is no Steelers on this format, but I can pivot to the Steelers anytime. I like 35-1. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's just even if they had Big Ben in his prime, with this AFC is just loaded and stacked.
AFC North is loaded. I mean, look at the defensive ends in that division alone should scare most quarterbacks, which underlines the message I was about to talk about. Cam Ward in the quarterback room, they got to be saying, look, the job of the quarterback is to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Distribute the ball. Make your decision, make your read, and just be good with it, and we'll figure it out from there. But get used to making decisions and not second-guessing yourself, because it's going to be a long season. Get the hike, get rid of the ball.
Look, when was the last time? That's like Tom Brady. You guys settled into your seat at 1:00 and put a Steelers game on, and had, since Roethlisberger in his prime, not when he got older, and had a quarterback you could trust. When was the last time? It's been years. It's like, Jay Rudolph and this other guy they got rid of, and this guy and that guy in Fields. Now you got a quarterback. You got a Hall of Famer, man. This guy, and you throw the Jets thing out. You just throw that out. And I'm telling you, I think Rodgers is going to have one of the best seasons he's ever had. And he fits into that system. You got Tomlin there. I mean, I think this is going to be the shock team.
I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Well, there's some rumors that Arthur Smith is experimenting with a 4 tight end set. So let's pump the brakes before let's go. Steelers got I don't know who's going to be
2 yards in a cloud of dust, baby. Let's put 5 tight ends in there.
Run the ball, baby. Run it. Run the football.
Jerome Bettis, the second receiver that Rodgers is going to throw to. Well, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of questions on the Steelers roster. I mean, you got Caleb Johnson, who's going to be the lead back. He's a rookie.
Pass protect. Yeah, it's going to be. Pass protection is key. Chris just brought that up now, and that's actually what the market is showing right now. With the biggest training camp controversies are involving pass rushers, defensive ends. You have Micah Parsons, who is holding out or demanding a trade, and also Trey Hendrickson, who did hold out, paid about $300,000 in fines, and then tucked his tail between his legs and came back to camp with no contract. So first, the Trey Hendrickson, because it is in the AFC North, we can just stick there. Brendan, what do you think of the Hendrickson deal? To me, it's mind-boggling that this team that was one of the worst defenses in history last year, it was just mind-blowingly awful, wouldn't prioritize signing Hendrickson.
I agree. I mean, this is their TJ Watt. Why are they hesitating to pay the guy? It makes no sense. And you mentioned Micah Parsons. It's really the same argument in Dallas. This is your best defensive player. Why are you not paying them? And the biggest problem I have I know we're trying to stick with the AFC North, but since Dallas is brought up, Jerry Jones had no problem dishing out this ridiculous contract to Dak Prescott, who always chokes in the playoffs, but does not want to pay Micah Parsons, his star player on defense. And the Bengals are making the same mistake. Pay your defensive star.
For the Bengals, they spent all their money on their 3 offensive stars, so they're very low on funds. I mean, they could barely sign their rookie, Shamor something.
Yeah. They waited.
Well, that's all well and good if Joe Burrow's going to put up 80 points a game.
Well, they kind of did that. They had to kind of do that last year. Yeah, their defense. It was mainly the secondary that was really bad for the Bengals last year. But the Bengals had one of the worst defenses of all time last year, and they really didn't get any better in that regard. I think they lost Mike Hilton too, which was one of their better corners last year. But for Trey Hendrickson's sake, I mean, he was one of the same kind of contract that Myles Garrett was getting, that TJ Watt was eventually going to get. I mean, TJ Watt's deal was in the works for like 2-3 months. So Henderson, he knows his worth. He's been arguably a top 3 pass rusher the past 3 to 4 years. I think he's led the league in sacks.
He's a beast
for like 2 years now, or something along those lines. And he's been really quiet just because the Bengals, their defense sucks. But he's back in practice, but he's not practicing. He's still kind of holding out technically.
The hold in, out, hold it. Vince, there's one thing that's markedly different between the Steelers being able to sign TJ Watt and these other two, and that's the fact that the Steelers don't have money tied up to a franchise quarterback. And so with the Bengals specifically, it's not just the franchise quarterback, like you said, it's their 2 receivers are locked up. 31-year-old pass rusher. I get it, but it's a tough decision. It's almost like Trey needs to take some team-friendly money, but he doesn't owe them that, right?
Right. Did you guys see the social media post that Parsons did yesterday? I mean, does that sound like a guy that has any interest in playing for the Dallas Cowboys?
Can you tell us what that? Can you tell us?
Oh, he's gone.
He's so done.
He's gone. I think he's willing to just sit out the whole year and say,
He
"Screw it,
requested a
I'll
trade.
just sit out."
He basically demanded a trade, and he's done with the organization. He's done with the front office, and he personally handed the letter to, I think their GM possibly, and also
Stephen Jones.
He also confirmed that they have not been in contact with his agent about any type of deal whatsoever. So
Right.
he's pretty just done.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And he said he would come home to the Pittsburgh. At one point in a podcast, he said he would come home to Pittsburgh. So
But what are the Cowboys going to ask for him in a trade?
Hashtag delusional.
What kind of trade value will he get? Because I guarantee you the phone's ringing off the hook.
He's probably in the range. I would say. I mean, he's on his last year, but I would say you're definitely talking a 2nd-round pick and a player. You're definitely talking 2nd, 4th.
I think you're talking a 1st-round player, don't you think?
It's just the contract, though, too.
It's a contract. Yeah. It's the 1 year, and then the 1 year, and then you're gonna have to pay him 32 mil right after that.
John, I don't think he'll ever do it, but Jerry Jones, he's got to realize that this method of going into the media and kind of devaluing your players when you're in these contract negotiations may have worked in the past, but there is too much. They have too many social media outlets. They have too many things that they can go on and really just crap all over your franchise when you do that. Micah did not take kindly. I mean, he said they were face-to-face months ago, thought they had a deal that was in the works, and then ever since then hasn't heard from anybody here. And then for Jones to kind of say, oh, he's fallen off a little bit. He's not that same guy that you can just move around the line everywhere. That doesn't work in this day and age, does it, John?
Father Time is relentless, and time has caught up with Mr. Jones. That's basically it. He doesn't really understand the environment, how it's changed, and he can't do what he did in the past. And so, putting that out there and saying that about your player, obviously you're trying to devalue him so he'll take less money. All you do is drive him away from any desire to play for the organization. Bad for the locker room, bad for the whole thing, bad for the culture of the team. And I think as long as Jerry Jones continues to do this kind of stuff, you're just not going to have a winning football team there that can get deep in the playoffs. Culture matters. The locker room matters. I mean, we see that over and over. You see it with the Astros on the high end. You see it with the Giants on the low end, right? The San Francisco Giants. You see it in football. You saw it with Cleveland. All the talent they've ever had, bad locker room, horrible culture. They don't win games. You got to be able to win games, and culture is a big thing. And if you're going to sit there and devalue your players, it makes no sense. You go to Washington.
And you know what it does too, John? It prevents future free agents from ever wanting to sign with the Cowboys. So it's not just there's not the thought of losing Micah Parsons. It's losing the future free agents that are shopping themselves around.
Exactly. I mean, it's like the debacle the Titans had with AJ Brown. It basically it sunk that franchise for what, 5-6 years, maybe a decade. You have one bad move like that, one just stupid thing that John Robinson did, it sinks a franchise because nobody really wants to go there. And you got A.J. Brown blasting the whole organization, blasting Amy. It's just no good. I mean, you just want to play football. And now you got the same thing going on with Washington, right?
Yeah.
They got a great team, great season. Scary Terry is scary. That's why they call him Scary Terry. Just sign the guy and be done with it. You got maybe the best quarterback in the game, the best young quarterback in the game in Daniels. Scary Terry's his number one guy. Sign the guy and go on with life.
And I think
now he wants out.
Now I think we have two different trades. So both have requested trades from their team. I think Micah Parsons will be traded. It feels like that is not going to be able to be repaired. McLaurin, it looks like that's more of a leverage move, in my opinion.
He's
like doing this to say, "Hey, I'm serious," but there's no way, Terry. After all this time with this bad ownerships, bad quarterbacks, you finally have the team that you've been so committed to. I think he stays.
I've heard they've offered him 27, 28 mil range, but he's asking for 32 mil. It's really hard to pay a 30, 31-year-old receiver who it's very hard to give him that type of contract, but I think they want to do it. I mean, he's been, like you said, he's been in the organization now for 9-10 years where it was absolute hell. And now you're coming off the best season y'all have had. You actually have your franchise quarterback. The defense got better this offseason. You got Von Miller, which he's got to be like 40 years old at this point. But overall, I think the Commanders, they're going to pick up right where they left off as long as they have Scary Terry.
And they got Deebo Samuel.
Well,
he's washed.
Well, and one of the things you just can't, from a management perspective, you just can't go, oh, he's throwing a fit. Let's enable that kind of behavior because that spreads throughout the locker room too. Everyone's going to be demanding a better deal. But, right now when you're looking at the season, because I think McLaurin ends up back at the Commanders, but Micah Parsons looks like he's done in Dallas unless they do something extraordinarily different than what they've got. It's just, and he might be just laying the hammer and just going, you give me the best deal humanly possible or I am out of here. But what team has cap space right now going into the season?
The Steelers have been right. The Steelers are they're the betting favorites on all these things. They're not going to get Terry though. You're not going to have $64 million wrapped up in 2 wide receivers. You
put Micah Parsons out there.
Parsons would be. Why on one side, Parsons on the other? Man, let's go.
I don't know.
You have Alex Highsmith and Peyton Wilson and Cam Hayward. I don't get chills very often.
There are two teams that are in the top 5 in current cap remaining. It's the Patriots and the Raiders. And both of them have already made pretty big improvements in the offseason. Raiders drafting Genty, signing Sam Darnold, and then they signed Geno Smith, and then the Patriots have already starting to build around Drake May. So I think for both the players in question, Micah Parsons, look for him possibly with the Raiders, and then possibly look with Terry McLaurin with the Patriots to stack with Stephon Diggs.
But who's got the draft picks next year?
Yeah, we got all those comp picks. Bringing it back. Yeah, hey, a package with Highsmith and a second round pick.
That would be phenomenal.
Why package it? Load it up, baby. Let's go. Give John Fredericks, get that 31 down to 25, right? Get that number.
I mean, do the Steelers have the money to pay Micah for one season?
They do. They have like 30 million or 40 million in cap space.
I mean, pay the guy. Look, can you imagine Parsons on one side and Watt on the other? Holy crap. Good luck with that.
Let's go.
Plus you got Rodgers. I'm betting another 100 at 35 to 1 after the show, just in case they get him.
this.
It's worth it.
You're listening to the Godzilla Wins radio show. We're talking some NFL football. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers. Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Chris Saxman, John Fredericks, and Vince Mayoko have joined me today. We've got 6 or 7 minutes left on the show. We've been talking about the controversial non-signings and trade requests out in training camp and so forth. John Fredericks has laid it out there. The Steelers are his favorite to win the Super Bowl, or just the odds to win the Super Bowl. But let's take that around. Let's go around the horn a little bit. It's fun. We don't even know, training camp's just started. We've had one preseason game, but heck, let's make some Super Bowl picks on maybe just the teams you think are going to be there. You can have some outs. We'll do this officially in a few months from now. But John, so you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC. Who do you have in the NFC?
Washington.
Oh, I like that. You're obviously with Scary Terry signing again.
Washington. Oh yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys. It's leverage. I agree with that 100%. They're going to sign him. Here's the thing about Washington. You don't know how good Daniels is. I was betting against them last year at the beginning, right? Because Washington, right? And this guy on 3rd and 15 would throw absolute laser beam, the dimes that thread needles to get first downs and touchdowns. I never saw anything like it in my life. And they dismantled the Lions. And actually, if you go to that Eagles game, okay, and they've gotten better. If you go and I bet the Eagles, I won the bet. If you go to that Eagles game, right, they fumbled 5 times. 4 of their 5 fumbles were in Eagles territory during drives. 3 of the fumbles after they got first downs. You take 4 of those fumbles away, Washington wins that game, and they go to the Super Bowl. So this team is underrated. Let's talk about scary. They're scary, and they've got a quarterback who's crazy. I mean, I've never seen a guy hit passes like this guy does. Runs around and hits passes. This team, and they got a better defense. Good luck beating them.
Brendan, if it's a Steelers Redskins Super Bowl or Steelers Commanders Super Bowl, where I live, it's going to be houses divided. It's going to be some crazy stuff with families going on. How realistic is that? Probably not realistic. Where are you going to go with the two Super Bowl teams?
No, the fan in me wants to say Steelers in the AFC, but I don't think they're quite there yet. I don't think it's going to be long before they're good enough to get there, but I'm not ready to pick them this year. I think it's going to be a Buffalo and Detroit Super Bowl.
I like that. I like a Buffalo and Detroit Super Bowl. Vince, what are you thinking this year and your way too early predictions for the Super Bowl?
Well, because I'm a West Coast guy, we're going to make it a West Coast Super Bowl. Niners, Chargers.
That'd be good.
Great money.
Oh, you stole my NFC. I like the Niners this year too. A Niners chart that could very realistically happen if someone caught some lightning in a bottle in the playoffs. Chris, what do you think? Who are you expecting to be there at the end?
Well, I'm gonna do what John did and put $100 on the. I think FanDuel has it at 43-1 for the Steelers right now. But I wouldn't bet the mortgage on it. And I think there's just some teams are just going to be due in the AFC. Buffalo, God bless them. I just want Josh Allen and those Buffalo Bill fans to have a victory, and anything that stops the Ravens, I'm going to be supporting. But they're a great team too. Lamar Jackson just has his playoff problems. But if I had to pick from the AFC, you betting against the Chiefs is a fool's errand. It's just a fool's errand. I mean, Mahomes is just Mahomes in the playoffs, right? And then as much as I like Daniels for Washington, I think the NFL is going to do what the NFL does, and that's going to catch up. They're going to find what's wrong with him, and they're going to scheme against it. And he'll have a dip of a year this year. Not that I'm rooting for it. I just think that's how the NFL behaves. You put all those defensive coordinators watching that film every day. They're going to break him down. And I like the Lions. I like Aiden Hutchinson coming back. They've got 2 years of firing it up and getting back to.
Yeah, like I said, I like the West Coast. I think San Francisco bounces back. I think Christian McCaffrey has an injury-free season. I don't know. I couldn't barely get that out with the straight face. And then I think it's Buffalo Bills finally getting over the hump. And that's where I would take it this week. Hey, you've been listening to the Godzilla Wins radio show. We did do some Major League Baseball picks at the first part of this hour. So if you want to rewind the show and go check those out, it's been a pleasure. And after us is the Jay Delsing Golf Show. He just wrote a book. I am currently reading it. Please pick that up. This has been amazing. I'm Mitch Rogers for Logan Powell, Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, and the one and only John Fredericks. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We will see you all next week, same time, same channel.
But guys, and don't forget, everything West Virginia, go to the best sports site in America for college sports, wvsportsnation.com, wvsportsnation.com, where you can read Mitch's columns. He's the best. It's called Mitch Please. Bookmark it. Go to wvsportsnation.com.
Nice.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineer sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, wvsportsnation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. wvsportsnation.com. wvsportsnation.com. wvsportsnation.com.